What if I told you that the entire universe, every planet, every star, and even the blueprint of your own soul could be mapped into one elegant design? What if this design wasn't just a pretty symbol, but a living field of creation, a pattern so powerful it has been revered and protected by ancient civilizations for thousands of years? This is the flower of life, the sacred geometric key to the structure of reality itself. And perhaps no one has done more to bring this knowledge back into humanity's awareness than Drunvalo Melchizedek, a teacher, a mystic, a keeper of ancient wisdom, who has devoted his life to revealing the secrets of the flower of life, Merkaba activation, and the hidden science of sacred geometry. Welcome, beloved soul, to Lemuria, the art of remembering. I'm Cherry, a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist, and high priestess, here to guide you into the heart of remembrance. In this space, we weave together the wisdom of Lemuria, numerology, and sacred geometry to unlock the codes already living inside of you. Before we dive into the teachings, let's set the frequency, because this isn't just a YouTube video, it's a transmission. So wherever you are right now, pause, put your phone down if you can, breathe. Allow yourself not to just listen, but to receive. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold for 3 counts. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Again, inhale deeply, hold, and exhale fully. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw soften. Feel the energy in the room shift. I invite you now into a short activation to open your field to the codes of sacred geometry. So if it's safe for you to do so, close your eyes, unless you're obviously driving or walking. Place both hands on your heart and feel your heartbeat beneath your palms, the rhythm of life, the original drumbeat of the universe. With your inner vision, imagine a single circle of golden light forming in front of you. This is the first circle of the flower of life. The circle of unity, the circle of the one. Breathe into it. Inhale light and exhale release. Now see another circle appear, overlapping the first, then another and another. With each breath, new circles emerge, weaving together, expanding outwards until you are surrounded by a radiant flower of life sphere. You are sitting inside the geometry of creation. You are safe. You are infinite. You are whole. Take a moment here to simply receive the frequency. This is not a lecture. This is a journey. Over this video, we will travel through mystery school teachings, stories of Drunvalo's revelations, the cosmic map hidden in the flower of life, and the truth of why this knowledge is reawakening now. But this isn't just history. It's prophecy. It's memory. It's you remembering yourself. The flower of life isn't just a design outside of you. It's encoded in your very DNA. It lives in the spin of your atoms, the beat of your heart, the circle of your breath. So as you listen, I don't want you to only take in information with your mind. I want you to feel it in your body. Notice the tingles, the surges of energy, the waves of emotion. That is geometry speaking to you, awakening you. And here's the truth. If you're here listening right now, it's not random. You've been called. You're part of the soul who came back to earth at this time, specifically to remember this. This is your sign. So open your eyes and let me share a story with you. 5 years ago, during COVID, is when I first consciously encountered the flower of life. It wasn't in a book or a temple. It was in a dream. I saw circles upon circles glowing in golden light, spinning and shifting until they become a living field of energy. I'd seen this symbol before, but I couldn't remember where or why. And when I woke up, I felt both confused and electrified. I didn't know what it was, but I felt it in my bones. Maybe you've had moments like that too, where you see a pattern or a symbol and it stirs something ancient inside of you. That's the flower of life. It's not just geometry, it's memory. It's the soul recognizing itself. Have you ever seen a geometric pattern that felt strangely familiar? Do certain symbols follow you into meditation, dreams, or synchronicities? What do you think your soul might be trying to remind you of? So as we begin this journey together, I want you to hold on to one truth close to your heart. You are not broken. You do not need fixing. You are remembering. And in this remembrance, guides appear. Drunvalo Melchizedek is one of those guides, a modern-day mystic who bridged ancient knowledge into the now. In this next section, we're going to dive into who Drunvalo is, how he received these teachings, and why his role is more relevant today than ever before. To truly understand the depth of the Flower of Life teachings, we need to first understand the man who carried these codes into our modern world, Drunvalo Melchizedek. Now, let me be clear. He never claimed to own this wisdom. He was always the messenger, never the master. He simply held the courage to speak what was flowing through him, even when the world wasn't ready to hear it. And that is what makes him a bridge between the ancient mystery schools of Egypt and Atlantis and Lemuria, a bridge between the higher realms of ascended masters and our everyday human reality, and a bridge between you, the seeker, and the sacred geometry encoded in every being. Drunvalo wasn't born with robes and incense in his hands. He was a man living a normal life who began to experience extraordinary things. He studied science. He was fascinated by technology. But somewhere along the way, the universe cracked open for him. He began receiving visions, vast geometry structures, spinning fields of light, and voices, not of words, but of vibration. These transmissions, he said, came from beings like Thoth, the ancient Egyptian master of wisdom, and members of what's called the Great White Brotherhood, a council of ascended masters who guide humanity's evolution. Now, whether you take this literally, symbolically, or somewhere in between, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the resonance, because every mystic, every prophet, every teacher throughout history describes this same process, being given knowledge that is far beyond their human capacity to event. It flows through them because it's meant for the collective. Imagine this for a moment. You're in a deep meditation, your mind is quiet, your body is still, and suddenly a pattern begins to glow in your mind's eye. Circles overlapping, forming intricate flowers of light. You feel it vibrating, pulsing, alive, and then it expands. You're not just seeing it, you're inside of it. You feel your body dissolving into geometry, your soul stretching across dimensions, and then as if carried on a cosmic breeze, a voice enters, not with words, but with knowing. This was Drunvalo's experience. He didn't just read about the Flower of Life, he lived it. He received it, it entered him. When he emerged from those states, he carried blueprints for the Flower of Life, Metatron's cube, and the Merkaba. And he knew these weren't just personal visions. They were collective codes resurfacing for the time of the Great Awakening. Here is exactly why this matters. We live in an age where skepticism rules, where people demand proof, science, and logic. And yet the things that truly transform us are often the ones that can't be measured. Visions, synchronicities, intuitive knowings. Drunvalo stood in the middle of those worlds. He spoke the language of geometry, physics, and mathematics, and the language of spirit, dreams, and ascension. That's why he could reach so many people. And whether you believe every detail of his story isn't the point. The point is, he reminded us that there is more, that we are more, that there are patterns holding us together beyond the physical, and that by remembering them, we remember ourselves. I want to pause here and guide you into recognizing your own transmissions, because it's easy to listen to stories of mystics and think, well, that's them, not me. But that's not true. You are just as connected. You're just as capable. So again, if it's safe for you to do so, close your eyes again, just for a moment, and breathe. Think of a time you received an idea, an image, or a feeling that felt bigger than you. Something you couldn't explain, but you knew it was true. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was deja vu. Maybe it was just a voice inside whispering, turn left instead of right. These are transmissions. These are your guides, your higher self, the same currents that spoke to Drunvalo. The question is, are you listening? Open your eyes now. Here are some reflection prompts that I want to give you. When was the last time you felt guided by something beyond your logical mind? Do you trust those inner nudges, or do you dismiss them? What might shift if you began honoring them as sacred transmissions? I encourage you to journal here on this. Let's get back to Drunvalo. His role wasn't to make himself the master, but to remind us that we are the masters. That geometry he received wasn't for him alone, but for all of humanity to reawaken. Now that we've opened the door to his story, let's step through into the heart of the mystery itself, because in the next section, we'll explore the Flower of Life, the sacred blueprint of the universe. Not just what it is, but how it's been carried through temples, carved in stone, encoded in our DNA, and why gazing into this pattern can awake something ancient within you. So now that you know who Drunvalo Melchizedek is, let's step into the very heart of his teachings, the flower of life. This is not just a symbol. It's not just a pretty pattern you find on jewelry or in a spiritual bookstore. The flower of life is the blueprint of the universe itself, from the spirals of galaxies to the unfolding of your DNA, from the growth of a tree to the cycles of your breath. The flower of life encodes the way life itself expands, contracts, and regenerates. So what is the flower of life? It's overlapping circles. It begins with one circle, the circle of unity, and another, and you create the Vesica Pisces, the womb of creation. Add more, and the flower of life emerges. It's also the universal matrix. Each circle represents an aspect of creation, and together they form a matrix of infinite possibilities. Within the flower lies the seed of life, the fruit of life, and the patterns that lead to Metatron's cube and the Platonic solids. It's a living library. Every fundamental form of existence is hidden within it. Atoms, molecules, light, sound, and time. Think about that. Every single thing you see around you, the phone you're holding, the body you're sitting in, the stars overhead, is organized by the same blueprint. It's like the divine fingerprint stamped into creation itself. Let's move on to the ancient appearances of the flower of life. This isn't just theory. The flower of life has been found in sacred sites all over the world. In the temples of Abydos in Egypt, it's carved into the stone walls over 6,000 years old. In China, it appears on ancient temples. In India, woven into Vedic patterns. In Leonardo da Vinci's journals, he studied it obsessively, sketching the Platonic solids hidden within. Different cultures, different times, same pattern. Why? Because truth is universal. The flower of life is not owned by one religion, one race, one civilization. It is the map of life itself. But here's where it gets more personal. The flower of life isn't just out there in temples or art. It's in you. Look at the way your cells divide from 1 into 2, into 4, into 8. It follows the flower of life sequence. Look at the spiral of DNA. It carries the same geometric rhythm. Even the structure of your eyes, the way you see the world, is based on overlapping circles. You are literally made of this geometry. The flower of life is not a symbol you study. It's a symbol that you are. Let's do another short activation together. If you have an image of the flower of life, grab it now. If not, imagine it in your mind. Sit comfortably, relax your shoulders, and breathe slow and deeply. Soften your gaze, allowing your eyes to trace the circles. Don't force, just allow. As you breathe, notice any sensations in your body. Do you feel a tingling, a pressure on your forehead, a warmth in your chest? With each inhale, imagine the flower of life glowing brighter. With each exhale, imagine yourself merging with it. Stay here for a few moments. If emotions rise, let them. If memories surface, welcome them. This is your soul remembering its language. And you know what's fascinating? Even modern science is catching up, finally. When sound is played through water or sand, it creates geometric patterns almost identical to the flower of life. When physicists look at the structure of molecules, they find flower-like arrangements. Even our universe, when mapped on the largest scale, reveals filaments and nodes that look strikingly like the flower of life web. Science is slowly proving that what mystics always knew: creation is geometric, and the geometry is divine. Now I want to bring in another layer, because this isn't just mathematics, it's memory. In Lemuria and Atlantis, the flower of life was not decoration, it was initiation. High priests and high priestesses, healers, star seeds, they used the flower as a key, a portal, a way to travel beyond the veil. And many of you listening carry this memory. That's why you're drawn to this symbol, without even knowing why. It's not your first time with it, it's your return. So here are some more reflection prompts. When you see the flower of life, what do you feel? Do you recognize it, or does it feel foreign? How might your body be responding to its codes even now? I encourage you to journal on these when they show up. So if the flower of life is not just a picture, it's a living field, a sacred library, and the geometry of your own being. But if the flower is the blueprint, then what are the structures it creates? In this next section, we'll explore how the flower gives birth to Metatron's cube, the Merkaba, and the sacred solids, the very keys to unlocking your light body and connecting to the intelligence of the cosmos. So take a deep breath, integrate what you've just received, and when you're ready, let's step into the geometry of ascension. So far, we've explored the flower of life as a universal blueprint, the living pattern that holds together the entire cosmos. But what emerges from that blueprint? What does it actually create? When you trace the lines hidden within the flower, something extraordinary appears. Metatron's cube. And from Metatron's cube, the platonic solids. And from those solids, the Merkaba, the light body, your vehicle of ascension. Metatron's cube is one of the most sacred patterns in existence. To the untrained eye, it looks like a simple geometric drawing, but within it, you'll find the 13 spheres of creation, representing unity and diversity. All 5 platonic solids that are the building blocks of matter, the balance of masculine and feminine energies, straight lines and curved circles interwoven, a key to multidimensional consciousness and a portal between dimensions. It's called Metatron's cube because of Archangel Metatron, the guardian of divine records, the scribe of God. It's said that Metatron holds the blueprint of creation, the Akashic records themselves. So when you gaze at Metatron's cube, you're not just looking at a drawing, you're looking at a living library of creation, a doorway into divine intelligence. From Metatron's cube emerges the platonic solids, 5 perfect 3D shapes, tetrahedron represented fire, the cube representing earth, the octahedron representing air, and the isohedron representing water, and the dodecahedron representing ether or spirit. Every molecule, every crystal, every star system is arranged through these 5 shapes. They are the alphabet of creation, the sacred symbols of the universe. And here's the magic. When you meditate with these shapes, you're not just visualizing geometry, you're aligning your energy body with the elemental forces of creation itself. Now, perhaps the most well-known, the most powerful form hidden in the flower of life is the Merkaba. Merkaba means chariot of light in Hebrew. In ancient Egyptian, Mer meant light, Ka meant spirit, and Ba meant body. Together, light, spirit, body. The Merkaba is a star tetrahedron, 2 interlocking pyramids spinning in opposite directions. One spins clockwise, representing the masculine, and one counterclockwise, representing the feminine. When activated, it creates a rotating field of light around you, your ascension vehicle. This isn't just esoteric theory. The Merkaba is your light body. It allows interdimensional travel. It connects you to your higher consciousness. It's been described in mystic traditions for millennia, whether as Ixil's wheel, the chariot of the gods, or the fiery body of the yogis, and it lives inside you. I will link the Merkaba meditation at the end of this video for you to try. I also have a video on the Merkaba playlist, which explains the meditation and what I'm trying to get you to do through that meditation. I suggest you do that one first. Now, the Merkaba isn't just a pretty meditation. It's a practice of sovereignty. When you activate your Merkaba, you are saying, I am not flesh and bone. I am energy. I am consciousness. I am infinite. This is why Drunvalo's work was so powerful. He didn't just give us symbols. He gave us tools, practices to awaken the dormant technologies inside our souls. And once you've experienced your Merkaba, even for a moment, you'll never forget it, because it's not something you imagine. It's something you remember. Here are some more reflection prompts for you. Have you ever felt spinning, pulsing, or geometric fields around your body in meditation? What did you experience during this Merkaba activation? How would your daily life shift if you lived from the awareness that you are already a light body? So now we've seen how the flower of life births Metatron's cube, the platonic solids, and the Merkaba. Geometry that isn't just intellectual but experimental, alive and encoded in you. But the question still remains, why now? Why is this knowledge resurfacing after being hidden for thousands of years? In this next section, we'll explore the cosmic timing, the Earth grids reactivating, the shift into 5D consciousness, and why so many of us are being called to remember ancient wisdom in this exact moment of history. We've explored the flower of life as a blueprint of creation. We've traced how the birth of Metatron's cube, the platonic solids, and the Merkaba. But the question still remains, why now? Why, after being hidden in temples and esoteric texts for thousands of years, is this wisdom resurfacing again today? Why are so many people suddenly drawn to sacred geometry, light body activations, and ancient knowledge? The answer is simple. Because it's time. Humanity is awakening. And the flower of life is one of those codes guiding us home. Ancient civilizations, from the Mayans to the Egyptians, from Lemuria to India, understood that time is not linear, it's cyclical. Ages rise, ages fall. Humanity expands and forgets, then remembers. Right now, we are turning of an age. We are leaving the age of forgetfulness, the age of separation, materialism, and disconnection, and entering the age of remembrance, the age of unity, of higher consciousness, of living from the heart. The flower of life is re-emerging because it's the blueprint for unity consciousness. It literally encodes oneness. It shows us how diversity, the many circles, is always part of unity, one whole pattern. Earth's grid is reactivating, and it's not just us awakening. Earth herself is waking up. The ley lines, the planetary grid, the power points of this planet, Sedona, Glastonbury, Mount Shasta, the pyramids, they are all reactivating. The flower of life isn't just your DNA, it's the Earth's energy body. That's why so many people are feeling called to travel to these sacred sites. It's not tourism or pilgrimage. When you step on those lanes, you're reconnecting with the geometry of Gaia. You're plugging yourself back into the flower of life of the Earth. And here's the magic. As Earth awakens, she awakens us. The resonance rises, and suddenly people who never thought about meditation are feeling energy. People who never cared about spirituality are dreaming of symbols and grids. The codes are returning because the grid is alive again. For many of you listening, this isn't your first encounter with the flower of life. You knew it in Lemuria. You studied it in Atlantis. You carried it in the ancient temples of Egypt. That's why you're drawn to it without knowing why. That's why when you gaze at it, your soul whispers, yes, I know this, because you do. You've worked with this before, and you came back now in this lifetime to remember it again. This isn't about nostalgia. It's about responsibility. You came here to hold this frequency for humanity's reawakening. The flower of life is not just something you look at, it's something you become. Let's do this together to connect you to the planetary flower of life grid. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Imagine roots extending from your feet, moving deep into the earth. See these roots glowing golden, connecting into crystalline lines of energy beneath the surface. These lines spread across the planet, linking sacred sites, temples, mountains, oceans. This is Earth's flower of life grid. Now imagine your heart glowing with the flower of life, a golden pattern spinning in your chest. With your breath, let the heart's flower connect to Earth's flower. Feel the resonance, the alignment, the belonging. Repeat silently. I am connected to the grid. I am one with the earth. I am part of the awakening. Stay here for a bit, breathing, receiving, remembering while I continue. So why you are here now? You are not here by accident. You are incarnated now in this exact window of human history for a reason. The flower of life is resurfacing because we need to remember who we are. We are not broken. We are not powerless. We are not separate. We are divine beings of geometry, of light and sound. And the awakening isn't happening to us. It's happening through us. You are part of the shift. The fact that you're listening, that you're drawn to this, proves it. You are one of the remembering ones. Here are a few more reflection points for you. Do you feel more drawn to sacred sites, earth grids, or energy work recently? What synchronicities or dreams have been guiding you to remember? How do you feel knowing you may have worked with these wisdoms in other lifetimes? So, the flower of life is not just resurfacing for curiosity's sake. It's here because it holds the codes for our next stage of evolution. It is the geometry of unity, of ascension, of remembrance. But how do we integrate it? How do we take all this wisdom and actually embody it in our daily lives? That's where we're heading in this final section, a closing transmission and full activation. where we'll merge with the flower of life, activate our Merkaba, and seal the codes into your body, heart, and spirit. We have journeyed far today. We began by opening our hearts, tuning into the field of sacred geometry. We met Drunvalo Melchizedek, the mystic messenger who reintroduced these codes into modern times. We explored the flower of life as the blueprint of existence. We stepped into Metatron's cube, the platonic solids, and the Merkaba, the very vehicle of the light body, and we remembered why now, why this knowledge is returning to this time of awakening. And now we arrive here at the moment of integration, because wisdom only becomes transformation when it is embodied. So let's not just talk about the flower of life. Let's activate it inside of you. Find a comfortable position. If you can, sit with your spine tall. But if lying down feels better, honor your body. Close your eyes and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb space or belly, and breathe deeply. Visualize a single golden circle glowing inside your chest. With each inhale, another circle appears, overlapping, expanding, circle upon circle, until the flower of life blooms in your heart. Now let it expand outward, first filling your chest, then your whole body, then your aura, until you are sitting inside a radiant sphere of the flower of life energy. Now with this pattern, see Metatron's cube forming, lines connecting the circles, weaving order from the field. From Metatron's cube, watch as the platonic solids appear, spinning gently, aligning your chakras. Tetrahedron at your solar plexus, igniting the fire and will. The cube at your root, grounding you to earth. The octahedron at your throat, opening clear communication. The isohedron at your sacral, flowing with water and creativity. The dectahedron above your crown, connecting you to spirit. Feel these shapes harmonizing your energy body. And now let the star tetrahedron, the Merkaba, activate. One pyramid spinning clockwise, the other counterclockwise. Slowly at first, then faster, until you're encased in a field of spinning light. Breathe into this. Feel the expansion. Feel the safety. Feel the power. And repeat silently. I am light. I am love. I am geometry. I am infinite. I am whole. I remember who I am. When you are ready, let the spin slow down, but keep the glow. The flower of life remains alive within you now. You are the living temple. Slowly open your eyes and take a moment to write down or simply reflect on what you felt. What sensations moved through your body? Did you see colors, patterns, memories? What messages did your soul whisper during this activation? And most importantly, what one action can you take in your daily life to honor this remembrance? Because the flower of life doesn't ask you to escape your humanity. It asks you to embody divinity within your humanity, to bring the sacred into the ordinary, to live geometry in your choices, your relationships, your creation. So as we close this journey, let me remind you, you are not broken. You do not need fixing. You are just remembering. The flower of life is not separate from you. It is you. It beats in your heart, spins in your cells, shines in your aura. Every breath you take is geometry unfolding. Every choice you make is part of the pattern. You are the code. You are the key. You are the remembrance. And if this transmission stirred something in your soul, if you felt the codes of geometry reawakening inside of you, don't let it stop here. I have free guides in the description box. Grab one of those and see what comes up for you, because knowing your codes is powerful, but embodying them changes everything. And of course, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join our temple here on YouTube. This isn't just a channel, it's a vortex, a sacred remembering. And drop a heart or fire emoji in the comments and share what you experienced in today's activation. Your words may be a sign someone else has been waiting for. Until next time, beloved soul, trust the codes, embrace the geometry, and remember, you are part of the divine pattern of creation. Stay grounded, stay golden, and never forget, you are the miracle you've been waiting for.